This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. And once again, here we go, rumor mill time, because that's honestly about all we have. And I know a couple of you have complained about everything I've talked about in the past couple of days. Straight up. Yeah, you can talk about the prospects over in Europe and stuff, and that's what we did with Broberg this morning. We talked in that video a little bit about Raphael Lavoie being released from his tryout. The Oilers never gave us details on that thing, so to say what actually was going on, beyond me, I'm not going to speculate. And Cooper Marody over in Austria, we've already discussed that earlier this morning as well, so we will maintain the status quo here and continue on with rumor mill and free agency talk. Of course, free agency opening up October 9th. That's a long ways away from now. It's September 20th. That's a whole 19 days. I know, long time. Realistically, it's a long time. And we have to get through an NHL entry draft as well. So a lot of moving things could happen between now and October 9th. But one thing that could happen come October 9th is something speculated here by Kurt Leavins in his 9 Things article. You know, every Sunday I usually handpick something of that article over to the 9 Things to discuss. And Mikko Koivu, who will not be re-signed by the Minnesota Wild, Mr. 37-year-old Mikko Koivu, is now finding himself in a situation he hasn't been in a couple of years, or, never in his career, in free agency. He has been with the Minnesota Wild since he broke into the NHL at 22 years old back in 2005, 2006. Yeah, you might remember that year because he played a couple games against the Oilers that year. Probably 7 out of 8 or 6 out of 8, depending on what those 64 games in 2005, 2006 pertained on his ledger that season. All right, he has been with Minnesota Wild all this time. He had a down year this year, 21 points in 55 games played. But we're not, Kurt Leavins is not talking about Mikko Koivu being that big threat centerman taking over Draisaitl or McDavid's spot and putting on a starring role. No, he's not talking about the ex-Minnesota Wild captain that way. He is talking in a situation in which, and I will quote this from number 4 of the 9 Things article today on the Edmonton Journal, the Minnesota Wild are moving on from longtime stalwart and captain Mikko Koivu, who's 37. Yes, his numbers have fallen off, but if Koivu wanted one more year and you could make the numbers work, could you find a veteran third-line center better suited to shepherd young Jesse Puljujarvi through a return to the NHL than his fellow Finn? I think Koivu can still play and is a tremendous face-off man, a weakness in Edmonton. Puljujarvi's deal will likely come in around the low $1 million. Tyler Ennis, same thing. And so could you get Koivu, Ennis, and Puljujarvi as a third line in Edmonton for about $4 million? That, guys, if we can have a third line again in Edmonton for below $4 million as we did this past season, that's gold. That's great. That's awesome. However, here's the thing when it comes to Koivu, is he's 37, and, is he going to really realistically sign for only that $1 million or $2 million number? Questionable. Never really know at 37 what a guy is going to do. Obviously, Patrick Marleau, look at what the contract he got out of the Leafs in his late 30s, I believe it was, took him into his 40s. But at 4 goals, 17 assists, 21 points in 55 games this season, he hasn't played a full season or close to a full season, 70-plus games in 2 years. Since that 45-point campaign back in 17-18, he is now 3 full years removed from his last 50-point season. And the other side, too, is, I guess, as mentioned in the article, the face-offs. The face-offs in his career have never, ever been below 52%. I think the lowest they go is 52.3% in the face-off dot. So, yes, if you're talking Mikko Koivu and you're saying you can get him for $2 million, right there, sign me up for the face-off draw thing. 100%. Sign me up. Face-offs, good to go. That's what we're looking for on that third-line center. And obviously it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world at all. Now you move down to the kind of fancier stats here on the Hockey Reference page, and you look at his Corsi for 50.2 this year, 51.9 last year. Like, the guy does drive offensive zone time for the majority of his career. Are you asking him to do that alone on the third line? If indeed you bring back Puljujarvi, if indeed you bring back Ennis, I think those guys can do some lifting to draw possession in the offensive zone just as much. But this is maybe another thing that really dictates the kind of player Mikko Koivu is. He had an above 50% Corsi rating, Corsi 4, in 2019-20, with 57% of his starts on the ice being in the defensive end. That's pretty good at even strength, I guess you could say, based on what I know of Corsi and stuff. And guys, goalies make saves. That's a statistic on here as well, on ice save percentage. So when he's on the ice, how many, like, the save percentage goalie has. Goalies make saves when Mikko Koivu is on the ice. It's just facts that, according to Hockey Reference, you can't argue. And on ice goals for every year, he's never been on the ice for more than 55 goals in a full season in his career. And he's played some big minutes in Minnesota, so you have to keep that in mind. The guy, like, if he's ever a minus, it's a -2 or a -9 in his rookie year, if you want to argue that. So keep that in there as well. He's exactly kind of the numbers guy you're looking for on that third line, essentially. So again, if you can get him at the right price, it makes sense. It does, but it comes to another question. I don't know what you exactly get out of him in his advanced age at 37, and his team that he's the captain of up until the end of this year. Quitting on him? Couldn't tell you. Pointless in the playoffs this year. 4 games, of course, against the Vancouver Canucks. Only played 11 minutes and 36 seconds per game in the playoffs. 51.8 face-off percentage in the playoffs as well. So again, right there. And really just no numbers to really talk about. But when you're playing pretty much third line minutes anyway, it's kind of tough. So what do you do? Now, do I have stats here at all on his penalty kill power play time? I doesn't look like I do. It's not that kind of sucks, but yeah, that's Mikko Koivu in a nutshell. I'll bring these up for you just so as you can take a look at these stats. So you kind of look at all this, right, as you look at these awards column here. That's what I'd be looking at right here, this awards column right there. It's way too close up on my fingers after a rough weekend of ball, but you get what I'm talking about. Selke, 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 Selke. In there, on there, every single time, every single season it seems, except for the last 2, but we're not asking a third line centerman to go out there and win us the Selke trophy. So, good news for Mikko Koivu. He probably will have a lot of suitors when it comes to free agency. The Oilers, at this point, guys, I get people being upset with the fact that we're talking every possible rumor and we're sounding like this team or we're doing that or whatever. Here's the thing. What else do we have to talk about? End of the day. Yeah, we talked about Philip Broberg's 3.9. I don't think that makes a majority of casual Oilers fans or more fair weather Oilers fans even look up from their newspaper on a Sunday morning and say, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. No, right? So right now, when it comes to the NHL side of the Oilers, we do not have much to talk about. And it's frustrating because realistically, we haven't had much to talk about at the Oilers NHL level since March 11th. Yeah, sure, we had the month of July and the first 2 weeks of August talking about the Oilers at the NHL level, but that's 6 weeks since March 11th. And March, April, May, June, don't count July, half of August, so now you've got 5 full months, September. That's 6 months in the past 7 months that we've just had absolutely nothing to talk about. And probably the most upsetting thing for me at this point. If you're hearing from me right now and you're wondering why this video's up, we're done. Ball's finished. Ball is officially finished. Summer is over this weekend. Next weekend is the first weekend of fall, and we still have no time closer to the Oilers at the NHL level until October. So it's tough. It's absolutely tough. Because now what do I have to distract myself from nothing when I've got nothing else going on? Well, I'll have you guys. You'll have me. We'll discuss. I don't care. I don't care. I'll discuss anything. I can get up here and talk for 10 minutes till I'm blue in the face, 12 minutes, whatever, about pretty much any topic anybody could throw at me. That's the best part about having been on camera so long at this point, is I can sit here and natter about anything for however long. So guys, in closing, this is probably my final video of the summer. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. It's been one heck of a ride this summer. We're in full off-season mode now, and it's fall next weekend. Guys, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here.